And we're back in the garage. So today, prepping for the fridge. Don't know when that's gonna get here, but we're prepping for it. So we've got the Blue Sea Systems water resistant accessory charging panel. Because I'm going with the Dometic, they actually have the little piece that you can go ahead and screw off and go into there. So I'm going to go ahead and actually replace this one here, which is just a 12 volt SIG socket, and actually going to replace the interior with this piece here. That way I can plug it directly in, because I actually don't need to have all of this. I don't really need this, and these I'll have 4 charging for USB, which would be perfect. Now the thing is where the hell am I going to put it? So that's what I'm working on today, is figuring out where I can put this. And my thought process is actually to cut out the, wait a second, oh my god, Brown Santa. Is he gonna drive by, or is he dropping off my fridge? I don't know. Come on. Come on. Oh yeah, he's stopping. Yeah. Boom skis. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get this fridge. And thankfully there's 2 of them, because it's a big bitch apparently. I hope he's coming here. I mean, he's got it, right? Says it's on delivery for today. And he just comes walshing down the street. That's gonna be awesome. All right. Oh yeah, there it is. I think so. Oh yeah. 2-man lift. Come on. Oh yeah. Oh, it looks all fucked up. All right, so. Huh. Did you guys kick that down the stairs? I'll be right back. Man, I swear to God, UPS is ran by a bunch of absolute babbling idiots. So, like, seriously, look at this box. This is how UPS ships stuff. I mean, I know it's hard, because apparently that's the one that got it in trouble. I know it's hard because it's big, and the UPS driver goes, well, you know, there's not a whole lot we can do because of its size. It's like, that's a horrible business model. Because it's big, you can't do it? Why would you accept it? That's my question. Nevertheless, fridge is here. That looks to be, that's the worst of damage, but this is a gift for me from my fiance and my mom for my birthday, and I know how much this cost. It's the brand new CFX, you know, 75, so it's like $1,400 after tax and shipping, and it arrives like that. That's unacceptable. So only hard part is they're extremely hard to find, so I don't even know what I'm gonna do. So I didn't really open it up. Because the hard part is I don't know if it's going to work, if it's going to have any issues long term. I mean, it looks to be, it just needs a lid, and it would be fine. But it's real shitty, guys. Thanks, UPS. I feel like as soon as I started seeing the box, I was like, oh no. Remember that scene from Ace Ventura where he's just like kicking the box to go get the dog? Yeah, that's literally how this box looks like it was shipped. I mean, that's literally how it showed up. He goes, oh, I think someone tried to put a label on it. That's why it's open. Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't believe you. Not even a little bit. So, all right. I'm gonna try to figure that out. All right, we're back. So, sent Blue Ridge Overland an email. Apparently they're closed on Mondays, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and, I guess, mock up everything. Anyways, we'll move past that. working back on the Blue Sea Systems. Opened it up, got a awesome little template, which is awesome, and so I'm excited about that. Now, where I'm going to put this is my next question. I want something that's fairly easy to access. I'm going to be building a shelving system back here, so I'm assuming fridge will go here, and this probably drawers over here. That way I can kind of slim this down. And then, yeah. So there's not a whole lot behind here. I want to say this is empty behind here. So I think what I can do is put this probably yonder and button that up, and this would be perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out and see how that looks behind there, and see if that's something that we can go ahead and make work. And if it does, we're good to go, and I'll bring you guys in for that. So went ahead and started working on this here. In order to get this out, you need to go ahead and remove the gap guard. You're gonna go ahead and pull this little guy out, and there's a Phillips head on there. You're gonna use a Torx bit to remove the seat protector, or seat gutter protector. You're gonna remove the two 10mm bolts here, and there's a 14mm seat belt bolt. You're gonna take those off. And then from there, you just basically start pulling it. It's got these pop clips in there, so you got to use a little bit of force, but it comes out. Now, let me climb in here. I'm gonna put you guys down and get my in. Oh, all right. So, I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm gonna do this. So, the issue that I'm seeing, working with one freaking YouTube is harding. YouTube is hard. Speaking apparently is a challenge today. Got too much on my mind. YouTube is hard. Or YouTube is hard. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I should probably just shut up. Anyways, so we've got this in here. This is controlled, or this is the I believe this is, there's a vent on the 100 series that goes up in here, and I believe that pulls into here, so I think that's what that is there. So that kind of killed my game plan, because you've got this space here, but looking over here, I've got this, which I was using for my first aid kit, and then this holds some gloves. Now, I don't use this, so I'm trying to figure out, and my amp is right there. The previous owner shoved that in there, so I left it there, and now I have working speakers, neither here nor there. So I think what the plan might be is to put this maybe right here, because that will almost fit there perfectly. And then if I ever need to work on it, I can just basically, boom, drill a small hole back here and get that squared away. I can still use this. Basically what I'll do is just put maybe a divider in here so it can't touch anything, but I'm using shielded connections on the back of the Blue Sea system, since it really just uses, here's your negative, this is your positive right here. Actually, I have that backwards. This is positive, and this one here is your negative. So with the shielded connections, I shouldn't have to worry about anything touching it. Plus, probably the only thing I'm going to be putting back in there is going to be gloves. So I think the plan is, at this point, to mount that right there. I also need to take off this one here, which is the SIG adapter, and go ahead and put the ARB's fridge connection in there, because the pneumatic works with it. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, get working on this, and I'll bring you guys along for the ride. All right, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is grab some scissors and start cutting this out here. And this is what we're gonna go ahead and install on the panel, so that way we can go ahead, because all we really need to do is trim this section out right here, and that's it. Maybe open it up just a tiny bit. But so I'm gonna go ahead and get my arts and crafts on. And I do love the fact that they use a template to show you what you need to do to cut it out, because that just takes all the guesswork out. Boom, that easy. So if we come over here, I think what we're gonna go ahead and do is work on that. Looking at it, I don't see really any other interferences here. So we're gonna go ahead and probably put that almost like right there. So there's that. So we went ahead and just taped that on here, got it as straight as possible, kind of eyeballed it, and I think it's gonna be pretty much perfect in there. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut out. I'll also go ahead and drill one back here, a hole back here, and I'm gonna run some 10mm or 10 gauge wire, and that way I'm gonna run it back to the second battery and get started on that. So let me see how I'm gonna cut this out. I don't have any Dremel bits, so I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do this. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna redneck engineer something. Doesn't really matter, you guys don't care, but I'll get it done. Well, we went ahead and figured it out. So what I did was I used a wood hole saw. It was 1.5 inches, which is just slightly above, and basically just drilled 4 holes, and then essentially used the blade from a hacksaw to basically hack that up. Definitely not the prettiest. If I cared more, I would go ahead and sand this down so it's all smooth, but the reason I'm not going to do that is you don't see it. It looks great without it. So I went ahead and swapped out with the ARB so I can go ahead and plug the fridge in there and drill the hole in the back, because I've got my wire that I'm going to run through. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this in, put this back in, run the wire, and attach it to the battery. And I need to go to probably O'Reilly's or AutoZone and get some cable ends, because I'm using 10 gauge wire, and these little tiny things which I have are only I think like 14 gauge, so they don't fit. So I'm gonna go get those. But this is a nice quality piece. Has a on off plus reset. Actually, I think it's just a breaker. That's not on off, it's just basically a, oh, it is, yeah, it just resets it. So really excited about this piece. It's gonna make it look nice, and it opens up so I can service it if needed, which I don't really think I would, but it just makes it nice and easy. Still works, still have the storage, and if I ever need to put this back to stock, I can just replace this piece instead of this whole piece, I guess, but I'd probably just leave that on there. I think it looks fine. And big improvement over not having anything back here, with the exception of this little tiny 120 volt, which is only with like, I think 16 gauge wire, which would not power the fridge. So not only now I have my fridge power, but I also have 2 USBs that are here, so I can go ahead and charge off of the second battery. Well, I had to run to the hardware store because I didn't have anything that'd be big enough to fit over this 10 gauge. So I'm back. Make sure you get shielded connections, and shielded means that it basically the connection is shielded from anything. So especially since I'm putting it kind of in a unique location on the 100 series, and if I ever do put something in there, I don't want anything hitting the wires, so this will help prevent that. And then lastly, we're going to use shrink tube over that as well, and that's just going to basically just be the final touch on it, just because sometimes this will have some exposed wire afterwards, and we don't want that. So push it in, make sure we got a good connection, but it's pushing out as well. Then simply use your crimpers. Always have a good pair. Perfect. And we'll do a tug test. We're good. Now, because I'm using a little bit bigger shrink tube, it fits over. Normally, if you don't, we would have been screwed. But thankfully, this makes life easier. And this is also marine grade shrink. So basically what that means is it has a glue coating in there. As it melts, it basically seals it and makes it waterproof. Which, I mean, thinking about it, really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. You know, it does in some instances, but like on this type of connection, not really, because water is just going to hit here. Now, if it was 2 wires and we had to splice, and this was running under the vehicle, that would be super important because there's no connection. That's kind of like a butt connector. It would just be a piece of shrink tube over it, and that's going to have that glue in there that's going to prevent it from getting water. But on this type, not really that big of a deal. That's just all I had, so we're going to go ahead and use that. So other than that, just knocking this out, and we're going to go ahead and, of course, do our tug test. We're good there. And then pretty much we're going to go into the hood. I had to go to McFadden's, and if anyone knows what that is, it's like a paradise. Only hard part is when I go in there I spend way too much money, so I went in, went out really quickly, and I had to get a 10 gauge fuse connector for the other end of this to the battery, and go get these terminals here, and we can call it a wrap. Alrighty, put you guys there. So the instructions say power to this one, nice and firm, and then this side is going to be ground. Perfect. I'm going to feed some of that wire back in. Because I don't need that much wire. And yeah. Alrighty, so we went ahead and hooked up the back power, and so now we're going to go to this end. I always like to save this end for last, solely because if there is an issue, basically, for instance, let's say, and the issue being I didn't finish that up and I hooked this up, I'm going to blow a fuse. Now, you could take the fuse out. That's obviously one way of doing it, but usually this is my my last bit. So we're going to go ahead and cut this off here, and we're going to feed this back in. So with this, we're going to run our negative straight to the battery, and then the positive is going to go straight to a pigtail with a fuse. Alright, it's really not a pigtail, but it's an inline fuse holder. And I've got to research a little bit to figure out what size fuse in here. I'm assuming maybe 20 amps. So we'll see. So let me go grab some tools and I'll get this done. And really not a whole lot of excitement on this, so let me get it all done and I'll show you guys what I'm done. Alrighty, so we're pretty much all set. So this is off, resets, and so now pretty much just got to test to make sure it works. Boom, just that easy. So I've got power here, I have quick access still to this here if I need to. I think it's going to work out perfectly. So this is a great little spot. I wish I didn't have to go into the door there, but I ideally would like it lower. But it is what it is. So if you guys need a power spot on your 100 series, perfect spot. I think I'm $50 for that. The cable, I'll also put a link in there, was relatively inexpensive. And then just some connections. So a lot of the stuff most people have, with the exception of the 10 gauge wire and the Blue Sea, but get it, works great. I'm really looking forward to having power that's hot all the time, unlike a lot of the other vehicles out there that are 100 series that don't have a dedicated power system, because these things suck in the fact that you can't rig the 12 volts to be power all the time. I don't know why, it's just how it works. So people have done it and they don't recommend it. So this is a great option for someone who's looking to have power, fridge power, whatever the case may be. And I think the spot's gonna work awesome. So I hope that install video was a big help to you guys. For me, these types of videos help me kind of just plan out my build. I think it's a great little system, and I'm really looking forward to actually implementing it into our camping routine and utilizing it to go ahead and charge. Like my GoPro right now needs some charge. I'm going to go ahead and hook it up to the Blue Sea systems, and it will be charged up, and it'll make it nice. So that's awesome. With that said, I wanted to give a big shout out to Blue Ridge Overland for handling the fridge situation. Reached out to them via email. They were out of office, and then hit them up on Instagram, and they replied. Jen the next day hit me up, got everything sorted out. They're sending me a new fridge. I'm going to send this one back to them. I really appreciate their customer service, because if it's not for companies like that, then honestly I have no reason to purchase anything shipping wise, because if there is an issue with it, getting it fixed is the biggest issue. So big thanks to Blue Ridge Overland for making that happen. I am a customer for life as far as my overlanding needs go, so that is awesome. Also, just wanted to say thank you guys for following along on this journey. If you guys do have any questions, comments, suggestions, please reach out, post down below. And of course, if you like the content, I am working on getting better, I promise you. You can go ahead and like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It's just going to give me an insight to putting better content there for you guys. So thank you so much. Hope you guys are well, and I will talk to you guys soon in my next video.